Hello, I'm interested in applying for the flight attendant position that was advertised. Could you provide me with information about the application process?
Certainly. To apply, you'll need to email your CV and a cover letter to Sarah Meehan. I spell her family name for you. M-E-E-H-A-N. She's responsible for selecting and hiring candidates.
What is her job title?
She is a senior manager in the recruitment department.
Thank you for letting me know. Can you tell me more about the job itself? What are the main responsibilities?
Sure. While the new opening doesn't involve frequent long-distance flights, there may be occasional overnight flights. This means you'll need to work night shifts. As a flight attendant, your main responsibilities will include providing excellent customer service, ensuring passenger safety, and assisting with any in-flight needs.
I see. Are there any specific qualifications or skills required for this position?
Yes. Proficiency in English is essential. Since we have passengers from all over the world, you'll need to be able to communicate effectively in this international language. Additionally, you should be adept at math, so you can handle tasks that require calculations such as passenger count.
I studied relevant subjects at university, so I should be able to meet those requirements. By the way, are there any physical requirements?
Yes. Candidates should be able to swim and have good vision, including the ability to differentiate between colors. Visual inspections of the aircraft, such as checking for damage or irregularities, monitoring cabin conditions, and ensuring proper functioning of safety equipment, are part of the job.
That makes sense. I have previous experience working in a cafe. Will that give me a competitive advantage?
Absolutely. Previous experience in customer service can be a valuable asset. Providing customers with different forms of assistance demonstrates your communication skills and understanding of important service sector values, such as patience and empathy.
I was also involved in daily food preparation in this job.
They will definitely appreciate that. It shows that you have relevant skills and can handle the job's demands.
Is there anything else I should keep in mind?
Yes. Demonstrating cultural awareness is also important. Our airline values diversity and wants flight attendants who can interact effectively with passengers from different backgrounds, being familiar with their customs and values.
That's good to know. When is the application deadline? I need to prepare my documents accordingly.
It's October 29th. We have several attendants retiring on November 6th, so we're looking to fill the positions as soon as possible.
Okay, I'll make sure to submit my application before the deadline. Lastly, is there a probationary period for this position?
Yes. The probationary period is 6 months. During this time, your performance and suitability for the role will be assessed. It's longer than the probationary period I had when I joined this company. We only had 3 months to showcase our skills and capabilities.
Thank you so much for providing all this information. I'll make sure to submit my application soon.
Part 2. You will hear part of a radio travel program about a tourist resort called Stanley Island. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Welcome once again to the show where we give you travel tips on popular tourist destinations in the Pacific region. And today, our focus is on beautiful Stanley Island. Now, before we get started, a word of warning. The seaplane service to the island was discontinued last week, so for the next month at least, The sole link to the island is provided by the old ferry service, since plans to run a hovercraft service to the island have been delayed. So what is there to see and do on Stanley Island? Well, the main tourist areas are on the north, south and east coasts of the island. As far as recreation goes, in the south you'll find several leisure parklands such as Waterworld and Fantasy Island, which seem well equipped and reasonably priced. If it's golf you're after, the 18-hole course in the south of the island is currently being turned into a conference centre. But don't despair, there are 2 excellent courses just 30 minutes away on the east coast. The south of the island has many large resorts and hotels, with plenty of children's activities and clubs. This part of the island caters mainly for those seeking luxury to medium-class accommodation, but the east coast has basic apartment complexes with fully equipped kitchens, so that at least you can cook for yourself. For those who like to get back to nature, you'll probably find the south coast rather overdeveloped. The rainforest areas on the west coast are largely inaccessible because of the surrounding mountains, but those on the north coast are within easy reach, and a local agency runs guided treks through the jungle. If you're into water sports, all of the areas have something to offer.
Before you hear the rest of the program, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Now, here are a few bits of advice for those visiting the island for the first time, to make your stay safer and more enjoyable. The island is generally safe, but it's as well to take a few precautions. If you're on any medication, bring this with you. It may not be available on the island. And it's also a good idea for everyone to pack some insect spray in their luggage. If you're thinking of going into the more mountainous region in the west of the island, let someone know where you're going. And remember, the reception for your mobile phone may be unreliable, so don't depend on that. Take your own water. Don't drink out of rivers. You're likely to come across lots of monkeys. They're cute, but watch out, as they can bite. Finally, when you're back in the more inhabited areas, take a break from steak and do try the local seafood. It's fresh and very good value.
Hi, Ben.
Sally.
How are you?
Fine.
I wondered if I'd run into you. When did you get here?
I only arrived last night, just in time. I prefer to travel on Sundays to miss the working rush. I suppose you arrived in plenty of time.
Oh, I've been here for 4 days now, so it must have been Thursday that I arrived. I like to have a good chance to look around and settle in.
I should have come earlier too. I'm hoping to get a part-time job.
Well, you've no time today, I suppose. Do you still plan to be an architect?
Yes, it's what I've always wanted to do. And you were planning to do economics, weren't you?
Yes, I was, but now I've decided on psychology instead.
How many textbooks do you have to get? I've been given this long list, and I'm sure they'll cost a fortune. See?
That looks a lot. It's longer than my list.
Well, it's 14 all told. So I might use library copies instead of buying some of them. What about you?
I'll probably buy the whole lot of mine because I only have 5 on my list, although I'm sure there are many more I'll have to read.
Luckily, we don't have to read them all straight away. Have you got your class timetable yet?
It came with the book list. When do your lectures start?
Tuesday. That's tomorrow. How about yours?
Oh, I've got an extra day, the day after yours start.
Listen carefully and answer questions 26 to 30.
It's nothing like school, is it?
Not so far, and the lectures will certainly be different. Do you have any special approach for keeping up with lectures and the amount we have to read?
Well, I usually try to read every word in a book, in case I miss something important. So I suppose I'll try to write down every word of the lecture if I can.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I'd get cramp in my fingers, and I wouldn't really hear what was being said. I usually skim a book when I read, and underline key parts, so I guess I'll try to make notes on the main points of the lecture. Have you thought of using a cassette recorder?
You mean to record the lecture?
Yep. Then you could make really good notes.
Is it allowed?
I think so. It must be. Plenty of people seem to do it. It has to be better than trying to write every word as you listen.
Anyway, what's your first lecture about?
Oh, it's on the Industrial Revolution.
The Industrial Revolution? Sounds boring to me.
Not really. It made a big difference to everything, including architecture eventually. So what's your first lecture about?
It's about what separates humans from other animals.
Okay. Look, I was on my way to the library to check out some of these books on my list. I have a tutorial paper to give in a couple of weeks.
Oh, what's the topic?
Well, I think our lecturer must have trouble thinking up topics. The topic is, why study architecture?
I don't know. It could give you a chance to set out what you want to do.
I guess so. Have you been given any tutorials to do yet?
Yes. Mine is called Needs for Sleep.
Sounds almost as interesting as mine.
We've been talking about choosing building materials in the last week. Now, a great many factors influence the choice of building materials. You can't make a house of cards, right? And people who live in glass houses and all that. Anyhow, today I'd like to say a few words about flooring. Some artificial materials can be used, like plastic for instance, which offer mixed blessings when used as a flooring surface. On the one hand, plastic is cheaper than nearly any other alternative, short of bare ground. Plastic also does not warp like wood. On the other hand, the best that can be said about plastic is that it looks like wood or stone. However, it cannot replace the real materials. As I have mentioned, I'm fixing up a new house. The decorator my wife hired told me plastic does a great job of looking exactly like plastic. Besides, it scratches easily, fades or discolors, and starts cracking within a year or two. So, if you're fitting out a sleazy hotel or plan to live in a trailer park, go with the plastic. Really though, for all intents and purposes, this leaves us with wood or stone as choices for flooring. Stone and wood are alike in at least one respect. Both go through processing before they can be put to use. Since few of us cut our own lumber or quarry our own stone, this is not perhaps a pressing concern. Still, do-it-yourselfers would do well to remember to buy only properly seasoned wood. Unseasoned wood warps, and a warped floor quickly becomes firewood, and its owner quickly becomes poorer. Likewise, except for dull-hued materials like slate or sandstone, most stone floors are polished before installation. The choice goes well beyond just wood or stone. Each type requires many further considerations. A few special remarks are called for when considering wood. For example, as always, aesthetics, personal taste and layout all play roles, as well as the type of house or room. Oh, and certainly don't forget the cost. When it comes to cost, a rule of thumb is that the softer and less exotic the wood, the lower the cost. In the US, for instance, pine is both ubiquitous and cheap. Mahogany is imported and exorbitantly expensive. If you're on any kind of budget when remodeling, it's really helpful to remember to go for the softer woods. Aside from cost, there are still lots of different factors that are important in choosing the best flooring for the job. Continuing with the example of wood, one must consider the effects of each type of wood on the mood of the room. When selecting the best wood to use, particular attention needs to be paid to its grain patterns, texture, and colour. In rooms where relaxation or deep thought is the aim, say bedrooms or the study, dark, strong-grained woods are the rule. Here, the grain ought to match the furniture for a feeling of homogeneity. In rooms where activity and motion are typical, the dining room or living room, lighter, finer-grained lumber is more suitable. In such a setting, the wood grain might be useful in offering a contrast to the furniture. This leads to a feel of subconscious excitement in keeping with the room's function. In either case, though, consult a decorator. It is a decorator's job to know what materials to use to fit the function of the room. Though some things about putting together a room are subjective and based on one's individual taste, materials appropriate to a room's function are much more straightforward. A decorator takes the needs of the customer and uses a mathematical formula rather than subjective words. Since feelings vary from person to person, verbal descriptions of wood types tend to be ambiguous. You want the wood you select, not something approximate. And if you do decide to do it yourself, remember that all wood must be treated with preservatives to enhance its appearance and preserve its natural beauty. In the case of stone, or quarry tile, as flat-cut flooring stone is properly called, a new set of considerations must be weighed up. Simple colour aside, the degree of reflection must be kept in mind. This is called the reflectance rate, which is expressed in a number between 0.0 and 1.0, depending on the amount of light it reflects. At one end of the scale is polished silver. At a rating of 1.0, this shiny surface reflects nearly all of the light directed at it. Numbers closer to 0 describe materials that absorb more light. Moving down the scale a bit, we see that plastic that has been painted white has a rate of 0.8, which makes sense. We know that the colour white reflects all other colour, while black absorbs all colour, and plastic itself is a relatively reflective material. Materials that are denser and darker have reflectance rates much closer to 0. The quarry tile I mentioned a while ago has a rate of 0.1. As you may know, quarry tile is generally dark brown and made from clay, so it is quite dense. Of course, there is considerable variation among types of quarry tile because of the hue or treatment of the clay during its creation. Does anyone have any guesses as to what material may have a rate of almost 0.0? We can guess most of these materials are black in colour, but plastic, wood and even stone reflect some light. One material with a rate of almost 0.0 is black velvet. The texture produces almost no shine at all. Carrara marble, despite its white hue, is actually lower in reflectivity than black onyx. In any case, the fact that tiles vary somewhat should not be forgotten. A highly reflective floor would not be suitable in a library. It would be indispensable in a ballroom, should your home be large enough to feature one. Again, a rule of thumb is that light means lively. Since form and material follow function, one should only use the more reflective materials in rooms where the cultivation and expression of energy is important. Bear in mind, too, that most types of stone cost more than all but the rarest of wood. Of course, there is no reason why some rooms of a house should not feature wood floors or other stone tiles. You can even mix the two. A room with wood panels on the walls can have a beautiful stone floor. My bedroom has white birch walls and a light blue slate floor. The place looks like a Russian hunting lodge. Remember though, go with what feels right for you. Good taste and the laws of interior design are the homeowner's servants, not his master. It's only beautiful when you decide it is. I mean, you're the one who lives there, not the decorator, right? Okay, are there any questions?